All right, so here's how to just get started sculpting in ZBrush. To get rid of this menu, to bring it up and to get rid of it, hit the comma key. You want to start off by grabbing some geometry. Click Tool. I like to start with a sphere. Draw it out. If you hold Shift, it'll lock it in its orientation, and every time you draw it, you just keep drawing new things. So you're not sculpting yet. Control N, clear your canvas. So draw out your sphere, and you'll come up here and hit Edit. So now you see this has been activated up here. You can now select your brushes. I like to start off with the Move tool. If you hit the M key, it reduces your choices, and then it's easier to find. So when this arrow pops up, it's still not ready to sculpt yet. You click away, and you go up here and make Polymesh 3D. You click your subtool so you can see all your different layers. You want to make your draw size a little bit bigger. If you hit X, now you're sculpting in symmetry. X to go away and sculpt on one. Control Z to undo. X to do symmetry. Now you're working on both sides at the same time. And this is where I just rough it out. Just rough out a shape. If you hit Shift F, you can see the geometry that you have. When you hold the Alt key and pull on the geometry, it pulls it straight out from the surface. When you let go of the Alt key, you can pull the geometry in any direction that you like. And if you hit S key, it brings up your brush size right where your brush is, so you can adjust it on the fly without going back up here. So now you see how there's not enough geometry here to really do anything. So now you're going to want to Dynamesh it to give it more geometry. You move the toolbar over here. When you get your arrow, you just click and drag. Find geometry. Now within geometry, there's a Dynamesh tab. Click that. And this is your resolution. The higher the number, the more geometry you get. The lower, the less. The more geometry you have, the harder it is on your computer. If you hold the Control key and hover over any button, it'll give you a description of what the button does, any hotkeys, and the path to where you can find it. So in the beginning, keep your geometry low. Hit F, Shift F to see your geometry. Undo the Dynamesh so that you can see the difference. S for draw size, bring it down, and then hold Shift and it'll turn your brush circle blue. While you hold Shift, you can smooth everything out. If you're using any sort of Wacom tablet or Cintiq, this lower button here, hold Alt, move it around, click just the button on the stylus, and you can rotate it around. If you hold Alt, click it, pull it a little bit, let go of Alt, and you can scale up and down. Then play around with all of these brushes. You have so many to choose from. The clay tubes, and with this one, so you see how it builds up. If you hold Alt, you see the little minus sign next to the target. It goes in the opposite. Hit I. The inflate I use a lot. Gives it just a nice, smooth, rounded inflation to just kind of build up the space.